Let's talk about some of the disruptions that are going on right now around us. The gig economy, as The Economist magazine calls it, is starting to create ripples, right? And probably a lot of us are thinking about that. The gig economy, the fact that people are going around businesses and dealing directly with service providers, as an example. A lot of people, when they think about Uber, they think about this as technology disrupting the marketplace. No, it's not. Uber is pretty basic technology. This is just two mobile devices speaking to each other. What's disruptive about Uber is the business model change, where they've cut out the taxi companies. The fact that we can now just connect directly through Uber with the drivers. That's what's disruptive. And so as business people, we need to think about our businesses. Are they commoditizable? You know, would someone prefer to go around you, go directly to your service provider? Would they sooner deal directly with your painter, your tutor, your caregiver, your dog walker, your maids? Now, what's going to happen as that begins to expand? It actually brings into question what's the value of a brand, right? A brand has always been, you know, there's a promise that came along with that. There was a company to stand behind it, right? But now we start to question what's the value of a brand. I mean, if I can go online, go onto Amazon, and I can find the best painter in my area and connect with that guy directly, and Amazon is going to stand behind that and guarantee the services with Amazon Home Services, where does that lead, right? Google's getting into the game as well, because what research has shown in Inc. magazine, they said 88% of customers they trust online reviews as much as they trust what a family or friend says about a product. So where does this lead? Well, I can tell you in the short term, a lot of companies are saying, hey, this is kind of cool. Now I can buy leads directly from Google, and they're looking at it as a bit of a lead generation play. But where does that go in the bigger picture, longer term? Now, sometimes people will say, well, you know, our customer service is what's really distinctive about us. That stands between us and the competition. Nobody's going to want to deal with an independent, right? Our customer experience. Really? We need to think about that, and it may be true, but let's just think about that. If you had a taxi company and you had the best customer service in your dispatch department, how much of a hedge would that be against Uber? You see, we have to begin by asking, what does the customer really want? They don't want great customer service in the dispatch department. They want a ride right now, right? It's irrelevant how good the customer service of the dispatch department is. How many people have ever ordered an Amazon product? Could I get a show of hands? Okay, now here's my question, and I don't know the answer to this, but how many people have ever spoken to the Amazon customer service department? Could I get a show of hands? Okay, not too many, okay? A lot of people don't even realize they have a customer service department to answer the phone. But what's interesting is Amazon is rated the number 4 company across the entire economy of any brand, number 4 in customer service. Company that most of us don't even realize they have a customer service department, right? Because we don't want Amazon customer service. Amazon knows the 3 things that we want is selection, speed of delivery, and price. And everything in their strategy leans into that virtuous circle of those 3 elements. So, in fact, that's a higher rating than Lexus, than Costco, than Toyota, and many other super customer service brands. So how do we defend against that? How do we defend against the commoditization that comes with the gig economy? I think a good example of that is a Canadian brand that some of you might be familiar with, a company, One Day Wow Home Painting. And I've got CertaPro painting my house right now. They're doing an amazing job, by the way. And I was talking to the guy, the franchisee, and super successful guy. And I said, tell me about One Day Wow. How does that work? And he said, well, One Day Wow is going to paint your house in 1 day, regardless of how big the job is. They just kind of burst the job based on the size. So if you've got, if the job is like twice as big, twice as many painters show up that day. Now, when I think about that, I can't get that through Amazon Home Services because they've bundled the offering or bundled the business model in a different way. I can't go onto Google and find anyone else that can paint my house in 1 day. Now, I didn't want my house painted in one day in particular, but the point is, it's a different way of bundling a business model. So think about our businesses. So for example, Tutor Doctor, one of our brands. We've actually taught customers how to buy in some ways, right? Same with our home care brand. People call up and they ask how much per hour? How much is your tutor per hour? How much is your caregiver per hour? Well, the reality is, in the tutoring business, they don't want to buy blocks of hours. What they want is outcomes, right? They want their son or daughter's grade to go from a B to an A, or from an A to an A+. So how can we better explain our offering so that we're not just selling hours? So at Tutor Doctor, we're really leaning into something we call X Skills. It's a program that teaches kids how to learn, to accelerate their learning, executive functioning skills, helping kids who are smart but scattered become better students. Now, how do you break that down into a per-hour offering, right? So thinking about how we unbundle stuff so it's not quite as commoditizable.